rule of thirds. Divide picture into 3 grounds: foreground, middle ground, and background when designing a composition. Okay, this is part 2 of the video. Now this one is for the olders or youngers who are feeling like they're starting to understand this a little better. We just talked about horizon line. Now this one is called the rule of thirds, and it's when you are making a picture. Now here I have a blank painting. Here I have a painting that has paint on it, picture and stuff. The rule of thirds is when you split your picture into 1/3 chunks. See how I did this with the lines here? Here's a third chunk, so if you split it here and here, it's like here and here, and it's background, middle ground, foreground. So when you're making a painting, and if you see the pause and pause challenge, like the Mr. B pause and pause challenge, and you're like, oh, Mr. B, this is really tough, how can I do this? One of the ways that you can make your pictures is you start thinking of what are you going to put in the foreground? What's this first third going to be? And then the middle ground is right there. What do you do with that middle ground? And then the background too. And so when you're pausing and then using your pause to draw, you could do that with the background, middle ground, foreground stuff. Rules of thirds are really nice to have. Not to say you have to use them, they're just good to know about. So this would be the foreground here. Here, I'll show you. This one is probably a really good example of it. If I can find here. Here, I just showed this to the littles. So we have this part. It's a little more than a third, but that would be the foreground. But I'm splitting up my picture into 3s. That's the first third, that's the foreground. And then this part's the middle ground. And then the background is way up here. That's where the sky is in the morning sunrise. That would be the rule of thirds. And it's never going to be like spot on perfect. Some people do that. Other people tell you not to. So here's a different one. Maybe I'll pull out some bigger ones to show you because I just showed this one. This is one of an eclipse, but look here. You've got the foreground, but look. See how I split it up a little bit? Just because I don't like it being super perfect. So that's my foreground. Then the middle ground is this little band right here with Emerson and the cathedral and stuff. And then the background is a little bigger because I wanted the eclipse to be showing really good. So here, I will show you this waterfall picture. So here's a picture of a waterfall. Now you can really kind of see how I split this up to the foreground and then the middle ground's right there. And then way up here is the background. Now for those who just watched my last video, that's the horizon line right there. Couple more. And then I'll let you guys start drawing. So we have, this one here is of a scrapyard. Now those people who know my comic books, Mr. Boltman and Cheese Dog there, this is the scrapyard, that's where Boltman lives. And these are all the different cars that he fixes up and drives around and saves the day with. So, but look here, we got the foreground with the 4 Chryslers, middle ground with the bus and Boltman's house, and then the background with this storm coming in. Maybe 2 more, like those big ones. Here we go. Here's a windmill. Now, you can kind of see the foreground is down here, and then this, you know, the windmills are the subject matter, but it's still coming out of the foreground. Middle ground is the trees, and the background is this big wisp of clouds. And that was another storm that blew through that day. Here's one. Here's one I painted a sugarloaf. If it recognize it, it's one of my favorite places to paint. So here's the foreground, and it's a little bit bigger than a third, but it's like right here, and then the middle ground is the bluff line, and then the background is the sky. And you know, the Mr. B Pause and Pause Challenge has a lot of pictures like this where you have like marsh and bluffs and sky. So this would be a good one to kind of keep in mind when you are thinking about what are you going to make with your Pause and Pause Challenge, if you choose to accept it. Otherwise, that's all I got. So have a good one. Bye.